all now see. But yeah, no, thank you for the introduction and for having me. So just to build on that, so my role within NatWest Group, for those who aren't as close to it, is I look after all of the digital journeys and data management journeys for our personal banking customers, our retail banking customers, and also look at the innovation and proposition portfolio that looks at how do we help customers use data in a new way and manage identity and come up with new valuable propositions. So a couple of things I'm probably briefly talk to you today about, but really looking at what do we see as the problem around digital identity and the problem around identity itself. And then I guess why do we think that NatWest are, I guess, uniquely sort of positioned to help support our customers and others throughout this. So kind of cover a few bits and pieces today. In terms of first, just I guess a brief recap again for those who haven't seen. So NatWest Group is one of the largest banks in the UK, formerly RBS Group. We've sort of rebranded over the last couple of weeks, but we really have moved more and more fundamentally to put our customers and our vision sort of first and foremost, really, and transition to become a purpose-led bank. And what we mean by that is supporting customers throughout our key stages across life. So looking really at end-to-end customer journeys and management and real kind of customer lifecycle management rather than product focused. Being really simple to deal with and really simple to transact and make things easy and safe and secure, but also with a real emphasis on innovation and driving innovation and partnerships, working with lots of other third parties and collaboratively looking to build new features and new propositions for all of our customers across the group. And with that, we have around sort of 19 million customers who sit across our different sectors and our franchises across the bank. Most of certainly of our retail banking customers and personal banking customers, around 70% are already digitally active, digitally engaged. And we have an award-winning mobile banking app that our customers use and love, which is great. But puts us in a really strong starting point for a digitally engaged customer set, whilst at the same time having the #1 commercial bank in the UK, so one of the largest bankers of corporates and commercials in the UK, so puts us in a really strong starting point. And then just to get an emphasis on what we do and some of our key supporting areas, we have a huge huge branch footprint still, so with colleagues all across the United Kingdom, the Republic of Ireland, and also our offshore territories, so Oman, Jersey and Guernsey. So we support businesses and families throughout there. We have a strong presence in education, so it's helping support through money sense programs and on our financial literacy programs. But again, continuously balancing and looking at new ways we can help support through our accelerators and our innovation partnerships, along with helping support our retail customers in day-to-day transactions and making lives sort of simple and secure. And I suppose on that point, so around identity and data, and I guess what we're looking at here today is what do we see as the problem now? And this is, I guess, a problem pre-COVID, which has only been, I suppose, exasperated really in the last few months, but what do we see as being the problem now? And for us, that always starts with speaking to our customers. So we have a fundamental belief, and because of our wide-ranging network in the UK, that we do everything in a co-creation manner. So we have a human-centered design lens across all of our new products and services. But how do we provide the right things for customers at the key life moments? And that's really only by asking them and speaking to them. So what we've seen is some real pain points emerge over the last few years, really, and a lot of these Fabian touched on previously. So it's good to see they ring true for him as well. But really, there's some key pillars where customers are starting to really struggle and distrust around data security and privacy and just complexity. So the passwords processes obviously is one that's fairly common to everyone. There's writing down of passwords and security issues around multiple different passwords and complex processes, which starts to really bleed into sort of password fatigue and I suppose complexity creep and complacency for customers. But fundamentally as well, we see is a huge, I guess, drive in distrust and huge skepticism and trust issues emerging around data and breaches and security and selling of data from customers. Are always nervous around this, and see more and more in the press, certainly these days, of outages and cyber attacks, and because that becomes more and more front of mind for customers, and the nerves are always sort of there, and that then leads to lack of transparency, where customers aren't confident that their data is safe and secure, what's out there about them, how do I find out if what's gone wrong, and really that real sense of kind of control is lost, and making sure that do I have permission to do this, and what are the real kind of drivers of having that sense of consent really for customers and being in control. And that's really that all comes down to it. And that's the main sort of themes and pieces of feedback that we've seen from customers in their lives, across multiple transactions. And I'm sure everyone on the call will seem very similar, and we've all taken photographs of passports to email instead of doing it in more secure ways, or written down passwords, or again, if I haven't touched on it, but avoiding the log on with Facebook button, because it's simple and it's easy and it's straightforward for customers, but it doesn't provide that sense of control, and it doesn't provide a digital identity, which we think there's real value in getting to. So in terms of then our approach, so we take that feedback from customers, we take our insight, and we constantly iterate on top of that. But we see more and more the customers expect us to play a wider role in their lives. They expect us to provide services across life moments and touch points. Previously as a bank, we guess traditionally focused on money and helping support customers get access to finance or savings, and providing returns on that. And that's really been a heritage of the bank, and I guess all banks, certainly in the UK. But that's very much evolved over the last 5 to 10 years and has become more of a day-to-day support as a bank. So how do we help support across all of these new areas? And it becomes more around that focus on trust, and providing trust, and helping customers really have that confidence and that level of assurance, really, that the bank is there to support them across any key life moment, from getting married to sending kids to universities, to go on holiday, or even towards end of life care. The bank is someone that can be there and help support that. But the thing we have to be conscious of here, and that's one of our kind of key beliefs as well, is we believe we should provide that capability, and we should be able to help support customers with that and provide them with an identity. But customers should be in control. So we should be fundamentally remaining customer-centric. Customers should control their own data, should control their own identity and their own information, have full access to permissions and preferences, and really should be at the heart of it, but with a bank underpinning what we do, what they do. So I guess that sort of moves on to how NatWest can look to do this. And I'd say, before using this slide, I should probably just use what Prashant commented on, which banks are the bedrock of the community. So he's done the hard work for me, but I guess why banks, really, right? So we're uniquely placed in terms of we have that customer trust. Customers trust us to look after their money, to look after their savings, more and more to look after their data. They trust us because we do identity transactions. That's the fundamental, really, for what banks do. We identify customers. We identify if we are able to lend to them, if we're able to open products and services, if we're able to authorize transactions. Identity is the fundamental thing we do. So what we look at now more and more in this emerging world is, well, how do we help customers prove they are who they are outside of our own four walls as a bank? So instead of just using our identity and our ID&V controls to support customers coming into the bank and using transactions and capabilities within the bank, how do we help support that across their lifestyle? So supporting from storing and certifying documents, from keeping them safe and secure, and providing somewhere safe for customers to store their data and their identity, but then really enabling that's what banks should be there to do, is enable customers and enable from individuals, to corporates and organizations, enable a marketplace that means customers stay in control of their identity and their data, but banks then are that enabler to say you can use your bank identity or your identity attested to by your bank to sign up for online products and services. This is some of the use cases in the top right hand corner, but those are for online products and services. So that's in healthcare or in travel, or in higher education, again, has been touched upon. How do we allow customers to do that and use the bank as the real anchor to be able to do so? But also allow corporates to help transition from paper and plastic identities and credentials to fully digital certificates and attestations. So we can help on both sides of, I guess, our bank, and have a huge opportunity to do that. And that's what we've been doing this year, and we'll continue to do this year around testing and collaborating with our customers and our corporate customers as well. Feedback on how do we provide those products and services, allow to move at pace. How do we enable ecosystems and make sure that whatever a customer do is interoperable, and we can move across from wrong party to the wrong party, and it's simple and secure and straightforward. So we're, I guess, uniquely placed to do that with our size of customer base, our technology assets to do that internally, but also with partnering and looking at new emerging capabilities in the market. But our customer base is very digitally literate and accurate. They are very engaged and are looking at looking for new propositions and services all the time. But I think fundamentally the reason why we're here and why we're looking to do this and move towards helping provide these capabilities for customers in a new digital ecosystem and a new digital economy is because they're asking for it. Our customers are asking for us to step in and help provide that trust, and help facilitate those transactions, so they're not constantly providing passwords or constantly providing identity credentials over and over and over again. They're asking for the bank to step in and support that and help facilitate that throughout the next sort of transition in that economy. So it's a really exciting space, and we're really enjoying and looking forward to testing more and more this year. And yeah, I'm happy to sort of pause there, Richard, and take any kind of questions about, I guess, our approach, what we're doing, but also, again, appreciate the time. Feel free to reach out separately